Reverend, we understand. We meet at last. We have been oppressed.
We are forced to ride the back of a bus so a white passenger could sit.
Innocent black men are in prison.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Jamie. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Pretty good. First, for you, Aaron, I first want to, take a time to say say something about the genius of Ron Cephas Jones and having a chance to work with the late great, and how was that experience? Just absorbing some of the stuff that he's been able to add to his legacy that he's left on the screen.
Man, to be gifted with the opportunity and the privilege to work with and learn from Ron was just a blessing. It was a blessing in every capacity, artistically, personally. He really took the time to gift me with gold, and not only in the artistic realm of things that would guide me on my journey, but also personally as a young man, and things that I will utilize rather now and always. He is, in my view, and the view of many, one of the best to ever do it. And we celebrate him, we champion him, and we deeply appreciate him. And we hope he's proud of what we've put together here. It was a blessing. Yeah.
I want to just talk about the legacy of Betty Shabazz. Because she's been a great figure in the civil rights struggle, and a lot of times she gets outshined, by all of the things that Malcolm has done. What do you think your portrayal of Betty Shabazz would do for the legacy and the conversation about her contributions? Because we see a lot in this series that we didn't get to read in Alex Haley's book or see in Spike Lee's film.
Yeah. I would hope that people walk away seeing seeing Betty as a full woman, right? That her name can be restored to Dr. Betty Shabazz, not just Malcolm's wife, which is an honor in and of itself that she prided herself in. And she also was her own individual person who contributed a lot to us and to history. And I think that's more encompassed in restoring the name of Dr. Betty Shabazz rather than just saying Malcolm X's wife. So that's a big thing that I would hope for, that people would know her name and identify themselves with her. I think for the most part, a lot of us, I even myself included, I knew more, of course, about Malcolm and Martin and Coretta even than I did about Dr. Betty Shabazz. And so I hope that it sparks more curiosity into her story and into her and her contributions. Yeah.
Aaron, I know a lot of actors, when they play, let's say serial killers or sometimes it's hard to get out of the role of whatever character they encompassed, that they dug deep into. Playing somebody, that was such a leader and has so much magnetism and importance, like Malcolm X, leaving that role, what do you want to keep from what you embodied in that character, just to portray it?
I think for me, I'll start by saying that I remember when I first got the call from Gina Prince Bythewood and Reggie Rock Bythewood with the offer to portray El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, Malcolm X. And I've said a number of times before, I was terrified. You know, it was terrified about the magnitude of embarking on that journey and the enormity of the responsibility. And I questioned whether I had the capacity in a number of regards to do this, to take on this task, this responsibility. And something that I did for that 6 months was when I didn't know if I could go any further, I leaned into Malcolm's deeply centered nature, his deeply grounded nature, and his tremendous strength. And those are things that I hope and pray the residual of that will stay with me on my own personal journey as a young man and a growing man, on my evolution, on my personal journey of life. You know, there are many things I wish to adopt, but those are the first things that come to mind. Yeah.
And I know Malcolm, I mean, because I watch his speeches on YouTube all the time. And I mean, there's like
What's your favorite?
I mean, it's easy to say Ballad or the Bullet, but there's so many that I can't even name that just come up in the feed that I just listen to, and or debates that he's had that I love to see, where he's you know debating somebody on the screen. I think there's one with James Baldwin or something. I just so much stuff that I love, but just as a thespian, I know Denzel really received so many accolades for when he played Malcolm X and Spike Lee. Was there anything that, while doing all this study, did you look at his portrayal at all to just to see how he did something that, because I know the series goes a lot of different ways and shows a lot of different things than Spike did, but was there anything just as a thespian that you look to like how did Denzel portray this thing, even though you're going to make it your own?
I want to start by saying that Denzel is a hero of mine. You know, I have the utmost respect and admiration for him, not only as an artist, but as an individual, as a person. And I think the first step for me was accepting that a hero of mine had portrayed Malcolm X before me. And what I had to do was set that free in order to liberate myself and give myself any chance of discovering what my version of this portrayal would be. I think had I not done that, I would have, in fact, prohibited myself. So I had to set that free and then embark on my own discovery, my own journey, and bring my own personal life experiences as a young man to the understanding and hopefully authentic portrayal of this tremendous man.
Well said, very much so.
And Jamie, like, being my girlfriend was screening it, and there's so many things that we didn't know in the story of Martin and Malcolm and Coretta and Betty. Like, what was like some of the things that you were surprised to learn when you got the script and knew the story you was going to portray that you didn't know before going into this?
Oh, well, with Dr. Shabazz, there was a lot to be surprised about, right? Even beyond just the script and my own personal research, there was a lot to be surprised about. There was a lot to discover with her. I think the biggest gift two of the biggest gifts and like draws for me into wanting to even do the series was the fact that we were going to see Martin and Malcolm side by side at the same time. That was new. That was refreshing. And even just reading the pilot, how they tracked their stories from childhood to show the similarities and the echoes. I said, ooh, that's special. That's something I want to be a part of. And then two, also, even before reading a script, getting to talk to the producers and the showrunners and them being very adamant about how they want to bring the women from behind the men to be beside them as equal partners in this series and in discovery. Again, that was another draw. So for me, every script that we got, I just enjoyed it. There was so much to discover and be surprised by and inspired by and fueled by, because it felt like such a fresh new take on our heroes, some of whom we think we know really well, and we come to figure out, no, we don't. We may not fully know them like we thought we did. And then others that for a lot of us, we had no idea about. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, just having Reggie Rock and GPB as leading this thing, and they always champion each other as
Yeah.
a couple. They're creative and everything they put into the art for the culture, seeing that they love our culture. Like, how much do you think that had to do with really giving full portrayal of husband and wife on Martin Martin and Coretta and Malcolm and Betty, just because this power couple themselves know what it takes as a team to have been able to create what they've done.
I think even beyond those are two individuals that I'll say for me put me at ease to want to be a part of this project, because I knew that none of our heroes were going to be exploited. That those were two individuals that cared, like you said, so deeply about our culture, our community, and the humanity of our people. And they have a track record of taking care of our stories. And so we knew that every aspect and angle with which they want to tell the story of these four individuals, we're good. We're good. That's it. We don't have to fight in the same way that we might have to for our people and for our heroes if we were in the hands of somebody else, because we're good. That allowed
for the integrity and the dignity of these people. Yeah.
It allowed us to then just show up, knowing that we're taken care of in that way, that the four are taken care of in that way, that we then can show up and be trusted to tell our truth as honest as we can about Martin and Malcolm and Coretta and Betty.
Absolutely.
And last question, throw this one to you, Aaron. I mean, Malcolm underwent, such a significant evolution and in this lifetime from Detroit Red all the way to El-Haj Malik Shabazz. How did you navigate portraying the complexities of his life within and growth within the series as an actor? I mean, because literally, like one day on set, you're, this period of
right.
Another day on set, you're this period. Like, how did you approach that as an actor and be able to portray that?
I really appreciate that question. I think it's a really important question. You're right. Not for the most part, we worked in chronological order, but there were moments when, perhaps you needed a pickup that required you to tap into your understanding of who Detroit Red was. And the day before, you were deep in El-Haj Malik Shabazz. And I think for me, what really guided me with that is his autobiography. I had footnotes. I had moments in there that, should a situation arise like that where the schedule demanded me make that switch, make that transition, I had key things that I would read, key things I would listen to that brought me back to that place, helped me tap into that place as efficiently as possible, and sort of expedited me there in order to, fully bring hopefully a lived experience to that, as opposed to, being thrown by the schedule, perhaps, So I would say I heavily relied on his autobiography, dictated to Alex Haley, as you know, which is deeply insightful. That's what I did, yeah.
Well, I just want to congratulate you guys on your performance and thank you guys for, portraying these heroes with the dignity and responsibility that is necessary to have these important people placed on the screen. It wasn't hokey at all, and you guys, I felt I was immersed and learned so much. And you know, like I said, I've read that. I read that autobiography to my daughter when she was in the womb. You know, I read it. So I know the story, but I learned so much just from watching the series, and I thank you guys.
We appreciate
Yeah,
you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.